morning, folks. I'm Lee Scananero. You're watching MeadvilleCalendar.com. I'm here with a whole bunch of really cool people from Meadville, but I'll let the ones who speak English introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Dan.
I'm Stevie, and this is Beretta.
And we're out here at Stevie's place. Stevie, you want to tell the folks at home what you do, why we're here with you today?
Hi guys, I'm Stevie Hargenrater. I am the Animal Cruelty Officer of Crawford County, and I am a voice for the animals in our community who didn't have one before.
That's awesome. Yeah. And Stevie, you were telling us a little bit about some of the work that you do. I mean, what does it mean to be the Animal Cruelty Officer of Crawford County?
Well, in Crawford County, there wasn't a cruelty officer for a long time. And a cruelty officer's job is to respond to complaints from people in the community who are concerned about an animal that they saw. I follow up and do a welfare inspection at the home, make sure all the animals are good, they have proper shelter, food, water, veterinary care. If they don't, I help them get in compliance. My main mission is to educate the public. And if they refuse to get in compliance, then we push the laws on them. But most people really, they just don't know better. So we work with education, and I'm a firm believer you can love anyone through anything. Like this pig right here, the vet told me he was gonna die. He had a body temp of 92 degrees when I picked him up at the sale barn. He was hypothermic and had pneumonia. His name is Groot. And the vet said he wasn't gonna make it. And I said, well, we gotta try. And so we did, and now he's doing really well.
Yeah, he's looking like he's living the dream, really.
So the thing about the animal cruelty position in our county is that it is currently a volunteer position. Most animal cruelty officers, also known as Humane Society police officers, that's who does the training, is the Humane Society, the Federated Humane Society. They do the training and the certifications, which is a 2-week course, and there wasn't a budget for it. There is no budget for it. Usually the rescue that you work for is who funds it, but there's not a rescue in Crawford County willing or able to fund one. So I saw a huge need for it. I've been in the animal rescue community here for quite a while, and there was just so much hurt and no one there capable to help educate the people. And so here I am. I did what I had to do and kind of followed blind faith and was like, I don't know really what we've got to do, but we're gonna find a way. So I talked to some of the Humane Society police officers from Mercer County, and they got me in touch with the people from Federated Humane who did the trainings, and I got signed up for the training, and then we had to fundraise for the training, and it was a pretty crazy situation. We did a lot of fundraisers to fund for that. So there was a pepperoni roll fundraiser that Cynthia Garlic did, and she kind of took that upon herself. It was great. And then Kat Rombold has done 2 craft shows against animal cruelty, the craft fair against animal cruelty. They've been very successful.
Is there one coming up?
It was just
last weekend.
Just this past weekend.
She raised $2,300 at that craft fair.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fabulous. It was awesome. So, and my church, Oasis, was able to raise enough money for me to get my ballistic vest. That was a $600 expense that I would have had to come up with. Hi, Eli.
So you're funding yourself, and
well, the community's doing a really good job, but we have to really. It takes a lot of education, because people think that you have a badge, that you're a paid position, and it's simply not the case. I have to pay out of pocket for daycare, so if I don't have daycare for my daughter, I can't go do those calls. I can't take her with me. I mean, some of those calls get they're some irate people. People get very weird about their pets. They think as soon as I show up, they think I'm there for their pets. And I'm like, no, I'd really like for you to keep your pets. But I'm gonna help you do it better. Just make sure we're doing it the correct way.
Yeah, you're not there just to bust them. Or
no.
Strip the animals from them. You're definitely into education, which is missing. So I'm glad that you're doing that.
Yeah.
So what generally happens when you show up at someone's house?
What happens pretty much every time I show up, they're really like, don't let her near that horse. Come here, sweetie. So, come here. Let me see, Mama. So, pretty much every time I show up at somebody's house, they're instantly asking, well, who called you? And I'm like, well, I'm really not at liberty to tell you. It's a confidential complaint line, and my witnesses are safe, you know, and I try to explain to people, like, I'm not here to cause you problems, and they're like, well, clearly you are, and I'm like, that's actually not the case. They're like, well, my animals are fine. Is that Merle? Get your Merle. Get Merle.
Merle's a beautiful animal.
So I try to explain to them, like, even if it's an unfounded complaint, even if there's nothing wrong, I'd rather somebody call me. I'd rather somebody call me if they see something that they're questioning than not, because even if it's unfounded, I have an opportunity to talk to people about their animals, about other people in the community with animals. A lot of the people I see have a complaint about someone else. I mean, really. And it's heartbreaking to me that people get so upset when I show up, because I'm not a jerk. Like, I care about everybody and their pets. And the thing about it is, a lot of people don't realize that domestic abuse starts somewhere than with people. You don't just start beating a child or start beating your spouse. It starts with animals. And if we can get in the door and get someone the psychiatric help they need and the therapy they need when we catch them abusing an animal, we can break the cycle of abuse in our community. We can stop them at animals before they hurt their child or hurt their spouse. And that's, you know, they were doing studies in the prisons, and every one of them had claimed that they had abused animals first.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of, you know, preventing violence in a lot of ways.
I'm trying, yeah.
That's awesome.
But, I know, is there Bruce over there?
You have any idea how many, like, times you respond, like, in a year or even a month?
Well, I just got sworn in August last year, and I get a lot of calls, probably about anywhere from 4 to 10 a day, but I can't respond to them until I have a sitter for this little monster.
Right.
So when my friends have time to watch her, I do follow-ups. So on that day, was it Wednesday last week? It was like -20.
Yeah, right.
I covered over 300 miles in the county that day. So, and what a lot of people don't realize is I am one person covering the entire county by myself.
Right.
So, it's a lot of work, and I put everything I've got into it, that's for sure, but sometimes, you know, and I tell people, if you think a situation is imminent, if you think these animals are life and death and I don't respond fast enough, call the police. All of the police are completely capable of following the same laws and enforcing the same laws that I am. Groot, do you like her sweater? So, I mean, I can only do so much, and I cover a lot of ground. And if people need help now, you know, and I can't make it, I let them know that, and they can call the police, and the police can follow up. And what we also are running into is that people in the public aren't really understanding what an imminent situation is, what imminent danger is, and they're interfering with the investigation by taking action that they shouldn't take.
Right.
Like, if there is a dog, if you see someone who moves out of an apartment and you believe they abandoned their dog, I need that dog to stay in that apartment for 24 hours. I need it to be abandoned. It has to be without what it needs for that time. Don't go rushing in there and take that animal out of that abandoned apartment before I have the time to charge. Sometimes animals have to sit. Sometimes they have to be allowed to break the law before I can enforce the law. And so if you go charge it in there and take that animal out of there that night, and the dog was never without food or water or shelter, you know, if the animal's not clearly, like, emaciated or dying, then let it sit there that night, and then we'll go in the next day, we'll pull it, we'll get it to the veterinarian, and then we'll charge. But if you take it out before a crime has been committed, then we can't charge.
You need called first, basically.
Well, and they need to understand that once they call, there's a protocol.
Yeah.
You can't just take it. We can't just take an animal. A lot of people also don't realize that if you seize an animal on a warrant, if I go take an animal, I have to hold that animal until the trial is over. So I really try every possible solution without seizing animals. I don't want to get a seizure warrant. I'd rather educate people or encourage them to surrender. If they really can't provide for their pets, I encourage them to surrender, and I have surrender forms they can sign, and I immediately get that animal the veterinary care it needs, and we get it vetted, we get it spayed, neutered, all the vaccines, heartworm tested, and we find them really great homes.
So if someone wanted to help you out, it sounds like they could definitely donate money. And that could go towards daycare, towards supplies you need, towards gas money. Where would they donate that money?
I actually have a PayPal account specific for this. It's called the paypal.me/Crawford Animals. And
Sorry.
no, that's Bruce. He's a love bug. He'll give you kisses.
It's like you guys are looking into each other's souls.
He is, yeah.
Bless you, Bruce. Bless you.
So, and also another thing that I need, I go through a lot of gas, and the transport van that Meadville Ambulance donated, I couldn't even believe that they did that. I cried.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a flex fuel vehicle, and the only gas station I've really found around here with flex fuel is the new Sheets down on the bottom of the hill here. So Sheets cards are awesome for fueling up that. But yeah, the things I ran into are, I mean, we need money for veterinary care, emergency veterinary care, for fuel. Also, I mean, there's things I spend every month. So I pay out of pocket for the Cruelty phone and the auto insurance for the van every month. So it racks up, you know.
Yeah.
We don't really need food donations. Ainsworth has been awesome about supplying us with food. Hi.
You may have been off camera there.
So.
Now, is it mostly jelly they give you at this point, or is it still dog food?
No, it's dog food.
Good.
Yeah, Ainsworth is really great about it. We have a lot of people that work at Ainsworth that follow our animal rescue, and a lot of them have the same mission in mind. Like, they're animal lovers, they genuinely care, and if we have a need, they fill it.
That's awesome.
So food's not really something we need a lot of.
And we'll post the link to that PayPal.
Yeah,
account
that sounds great.
in the post.
And Stevie or Dan, you guys know of anything good coming up in Meadville this week or this weekend?
Yeah. I mean, there's always awesome things in Meadville. Come on.
That's true. I love it.
Yeah.
I also can't think of really anything.
We were kind of focused on talking to Stevie today,
Yeah,
so
I know,
I didn't really think about it.
But check the calendar.
Yeah, we'll put it in the post.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys have any other final thoughts?
I'm going to talk it over with Bruce and Merle. We're going to have a good discussion.
Hey, Groot over here. My buddy. He's a good pig.
Sounds good.
I love it. All right, we'll see you on the town then, Meadville. Thanks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Bye.
That was pretty.
I didn't curse once.
I know.